Welcome to the Geekcentric podcast. Today we get our first look at D&D Honor Among Thieves. We get another look at Amazon's The Rings of Power, and Groot is back, baby. All this and everything else that happened this week in Geek at San Diego Comic-Con 2022, days 1 and 2.
Love ya. Get home safe, guys. Peace.
Hey, it's Nate, and if you're joining us for the first time, we are Geekcentric, a podcast celebrating the world of movies, TV shows, toys, collectibles, gaming, and all things Geekcentric. Joining me for this SDCC 2022 recap, we've got the JRR Token, Joint Roller Smokin', Justin, the Justice Fatigue League, Lawrence.
I love that name.
Does that work?
Yeah, that works really well. The JRR Token.
Joint
Damn
Roller
right.
Smokin'. Yeah, man.
Baller name. Yes. Hi, I am good. My voice sounds a little congested and raspy because I am dealing with the COVID. I have, after 2.5 years, I have gotten the virus, but I'm happy to be here. And
you didn't even physically go to San Diego Comic-Con.
No, I can only imagine what's gonna transpire
Oh,
while there. So, but yeah, I'm excited. Nothing can hold me back from geeking out on all this stuff because there was some good reveals these past couple days.
Some really good stuff, and we're just kind of just getting into it, just scratching the surface. But listen, we also have another wonderful person joining us. She's jumping off the battle bus. She's mighty and she's marvelous. If you need some art, she's the one you trust. She's the mindful morphin' Megan Ranger, Megan Clara.
Whoa! I'm loving these intros.
Yeah, they get better every time.
They really do.
I try.
Hello,
How are
everyone.
you two wonderful people doing, Megan? How are you doing tonight?
Oh, doing really well. I'm excited to be on my first official This Week in Geek episodes. This is
Yeah.
awesome. I'm super
Yeah.
stoked, and there's a lot of animation that was revealed today
Yes.
specifically. So I'm stoked about that.
Very
Yeah.
fitting. Very fitting. But before we get into all the big stuff, this is our San Diego Comic-Con 2022 recap for days 1 and 2 of the convention. We're going to be recapping the next day as well, I believe, or the other. How many more days are there? I don't even know. Is it just one more day?
There is a big day tomorrow, which is day 3. We're expecting a lot of news from Warner and from Marvel, and that's going to give us a lot to talk about. So that we're not necessarily tied to covering Sunday, but we'll take a look and we'll see.
Well, I have to ask both of you, are either of you feeling the FOMO like I am? Like when Darcy and I went to Star Wars Celebration and we did our live from Star Wars Celebration, I know, Megan, I was messaging you a bunch of stuff and I was like, I don't know if you want to see this, but check this out. And then Justin, I know when you came onto our podcast, you were just FOMOing all over the place. Like, are either of you feeling the FOMO for San Diego Comic-Con like I am?
I don't know. Like, I think for Star Wars, it's Star Wars, and
Yeah.
it's Star Wars Celebration, so that means a lot. I don't know. This time around, I guess I'm not really feeling FOMO. That being said, I think it's just going to be one of those things where it's going to come in waves, if you will.
Yeah, for
Totally.
me, it's I've never actually been to any of these big convention reveal events, so I feel like there's not much FOMO on my end, either only because I don't really know what I'm missing, I guess.
Right.
And because everything's so accessible on the internet right now. Yeah, if it was easier to access, like to get there for us, then obviously I'd probably just go, but yeah.
Well, we are hoping to cover a local con coming up pretty soon, actually. So you'll hear more about that in the future. But yeah, I was feeling some FOMO watching, because like all the influencers that I follow that live in the States, they're just like, yeah, I think I might go to San Diego. Like there was literally a guy on YouTube that I followed that just like, yeah, I just decided to buy a ticket last minute, and he got some random ticket, and he's still there somehow. Like I don't know how he even pulled it off, and I'm just like, to be able to decide that on a whim is just so cool. But
The convention's great, but it's also the city that really does come to life. Like, there's a
yeah.
lot of stuff in and around the convention that really does add to the excitement and the hype of Comic-Con. So that's a lot of fun. But yeah, like you said, like if you live in the States, domestic travel is like a hop, skip, and a jump from
So
wherever
easy.
you are. Very, very easy for those that live in the United States to do these things. 100%.
But we're Canadian, so
Yeah.
Yeah, eh?
Yeah. Now, of course, there's so much going on, so many announcements, everywhere from like micro announcements to major announcements. Before we get to like the major trailers, I think is where we're gonna start. I wanted to ask, were there any kind of dope announcements or things shown off at the con or mentioned at the con that you wanted to kind of highlight?
Yeah, I was really excited because they revealed some gameplay footage of Batgirl in Gotham Knights. And
Yes.
I remember when that game was announced first time around, and it was not on my radar at all. And the video played, I'm assuming it was at a PlayStation sort of reveal. Might have been an E3 a couple years ago. And I was like, okay, here we go. Never been into DC, but I'm stoked about this game. It looks amazing. It looks gritty. It's like obviously a universe where Batman dies. So
Right.
I was hooked right from there. But then to see Batgirl and today to get an in-depth look at her like move set and her style, her gameplay footage, it was like really, really cool to see. So I'm even more jacked up about that game again. It like boosted my excitement one more time. So
Yeah, it's funny because like I also like I wasn't terribly impressed with what they've shown off so far, but yeah, as soon as I saw that trailer with the gameplay, like her fighting style looks
so
awesome,
cool, and her cape and
so
yeah.
dope, so dope. And also I wanted to just kind of mention when she first started talking, I was like, is that Ashley Eckstein?
I thought it was
And
too.
it's not, right? I was like, is that Ashley Eckstein? It's not. I'm trying to find the name of who it actually is. I think it's America Young is the voice of Batgirl in Gotham Knights. But I was like, it sounds so much like I was like, oh, is it Ahsoka?
Ahsoka?
And now it just makes me want an Ahsoka video game like that, where like you play, like imagine with that same fighting style would be, I don't know, pretty
Jaw
unreal.
on the floor.
Yeah.
Star
yeah.
Wars. Get at it.
But Justin, speaking of video games, you were kind of freaking out about something video game related as well from the con.
Yeah, we finally got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga Collection release date. I pre-ordered that sucker, and they were like, oh, it's going to come at the end of the year. I'm like, end of the year? Right? But it looks like it's coming at the end of August, which is great, and it includes 13 games. It's available for PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch, and PC, and it's all retro games. It's all the old Ninja Turtle games. And I remember, Nate, when this was announced, you like literally sent me a message. You just sent me that link, and
instantly.
then you go, there you go, Justin. They finally did it. Because all I've been trying to do is find a way that I can like very cleanly play these games that doesn't require like an emulator or something like that. And it looks like this will probably give me the best experience, especially on a Switch,
Yeah.
which I have. So I've pre-ordered it for a Switch, but I did that big box set where you get all the artwork and all the cool little stuff. So I spent like 200 bones for it, but I don't know.
worth it all
Ninja
day.
Turtles was,
Oh my God, yeah.
yeah, for sure. Especially for something that I absolutely love. And then also another piece of Ninja Turtles news that was announced was the release of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic book series from Boom Studio and IDW Publishing. They did part 1 already, and I'm actually just reading it now. Artwork is fantastic.
Looks
the
nuts.
story of how they bring them together is really, really cool. I'm really digging the vibe, so I'm really happy that it did so well that they are doing a part 2, because I thought that this was going to be it. So, but that doesn't come out until the end of December. So, hopefully in time for my birthday. So, but yeah, that's another little small little comic thing that I thought was pretty stoked about, just especially given the fact that it is Comic-Con, right?
It is
So,
funny how we
some
kind of all
comic
forget
news.
that, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, comic
so-
books. I wanted to shout out Funkoville. I mean, I think, Justin, up until seeing this Funkoville sort of, I guess, what would you call it, installation at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, it's an
like literally a
installation, for
little
sure.
It's a little town or a little like
Town,
street, it's like street that you go down in San Diego Comic-Con. And like, I know, Justin, you were kind of telling me earlier in the year, you're like, I think I'm going to sell a lot of my Pops. And you probably still are, but like, I don't know, man. After seeing Funkoville, I was just like, this looks so dope. And the Pops that they're bringing to San Diego Comic-Con as the exclusives just looks so unique and so interesting with different colorways. But I think what got me really hyped was obviously seeing Loungefly there was super cool. They kind of have it set up, as I said, like a little street that you go down, and they've got like the Funko store, which is kind of like a pop shop kind of, and then like a diner. And then they have another section. It's a diner, right? And then they've got another section that is Loungefly, and that's all those backpacks and apparel. And that is set up, I believe, kind of like almost like a boutique. And then you've got the Mondo shop, which is a record shop, which makes a lot of sense because it's Mondo, and it looks so sick. And it's just really cool to see how quickly that partnership has formed, because we just like, it wasn't that long ago that we were talking about Funko buying Mondo, and now just to see it in the same installation on the same street is pretty cool.
Well, this is the perfect venue to showcase the partnership that has begun, right? Because Loungefly is very much, they're doing their own thing at the resources of Funko, and I think that's, as we were talking about in the previous This Week in Geek, that is what Funko wants for Mondo. They want them to be able to continue doing what they're doing, but with more resources. And again, Comic-Con's huge. This is the first big expo for geeks and nerds to just, indulge in all things. And you got 3 very, very huge brands that are basically taking over a huge portion of this hall as a little town to showcase their strength and what they really do own in terms of territory, in terms of pop culture. So it's fantastic branding for them to do it, and it's so smart for them to use Comic-Con as the stage to kind of show their sort of breadth of collaboration.
Yeah, I just want more Mondo stuff. That's all I want. I just want to buy a bunch of Mondo stuff. That's my FOMO. But listen, I know that our podcast listeners, you can't really see this right now, but I actually have with me an ancient banjo in my hands, and I'm going to use it to call upon the power of Kevin, because
It's trailer time.
all right, our first trailer, and kind of the big thing that hit, I think the first big thing that really hit on Thursday, on the first day of the convention, was Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. We got the first trailer. This is directed by John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein, and it features, basically the description is as follows. An ex-harper turned thief escapes from prison with his partner, a female barbarian, and reunites with a no-talent wizard and a druid new to their team in an effort to rob the cheating con man who stole all their loot from the heist that landed them behind bars, and used it to install himself as the Lord of Neverwinter. Only the traitor is allied with a powerful red wizard who has something far more sinister in store. This is starring Michelle Rodriguez, Chris Pine, Sophia Lillis, Regé-Jean Page, Justice Smith, Hugh Grant, Jason Wong, Daisy Head, and Chloe Coleman, and hits theaters March 3rd, 2023. A little bit of a ways out, but I wanted to kick it off to you, fine folks. What did you think of our first look at Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves?
I am
Looks like a lot of fun.
stoked. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. It looks like they're going to be telling their own story with a set of characters in the Dungeons and Dragons world. Again, I'm not a Dungeons and Dragons dude. I don't play the game, but I know that there's a lot of lore and there's a lot of these different types of characters that you can be, and you build out your characters and so on. And a lot of what I've learned is from Darcy and Stranger Things. But I think that what's interesting is that this is what this movie is. It is a selection of characters that, you would probably see in a Dungeons and Dragons game. taking place in a Dungeons and Dragon world, telling a story that feels like very heist vibe. You can see that Chris Pine's character is definitely going to be the smooth talker, the one that's who's always got the ideas, right? And some of them are good, some of them are bad, and sometimes he's just lucky. And yeah, pairing that with the brute strength of someone like Michelle Rodriguez, who carries herself as a literal tough ass barbarian. I think it's perfect. Yeah. It's like she's just going to play Michelle Rodriguez. And with that, it seems like there is very much a balance of characters that are going to take themselves seriously and take this role very seriously and be the kings and the wizards. But it also looks like people like Chris Pine and maybe even Michelle Rodriguez might be a little bit more reserved and a little bit more modern, that the audience could relate to, and really just tying in this idea that they are players in this game. It looks like they're having a lot of fun in this trailer, so I'm excited.
Yeah, Chris Pine said he said that he thinks it's like Princess Bride meets Game of Thrones. I kind of think it looks very Guardians of the Galaxy-esque as well. Sure. Sure. And I do like the original, like, sort of monsters that are in it. I think it's kind of cool seeing this sort of from the outside looking in, right? Like, it's not often, like, because we're into so many different massive franchises that we're usually on the inside, and so to see this and looking in from the outside for something that, for a fandom that's been around for decades, it's kind of a cool feeling, and it's this does look really fun. Megan, what did you think?
Yeah, I'm also not a D&D player. I don't know anything about it aside from what I've seen on Big Bang Theory.
Okay, right, there you go.
Yeah, but it looks like so much fun. I'm a big Chris Pine fan, and he's playing another role that I know he's going to be so good in. I'm just excited for more fantasy films. Like, this is going to be a really fun, exciting adventure, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, the creatures, I think, are what's kind of doing it for me in this trailer. There's like a dragon that like spits mud or something.
The owl bear.
The owl bear.
I'm here for the owl bear.
It looks so cool. That's Sophia Lillis's character,
yes.
Who's the druid, who she transforms into that owl bear, and yeah, I think it looks neat. And again, even the dragon at the end of the trailer looks like the dragon, the titular dragon of Dungeons and Dragons that you see on the books, on the covers and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be really fun. We did have a write-in. Another raven has flown into my abode, and it's carrying a note here. Thank you, Raven. And so let me open this up here. Oh, okay. This is from Sir Darcy, who writes, "It looks like it's going to be a fun time capturing all the best parts of a typical D&D campaign, from the epic battles to cheesy jokes and everything in between. Can't wait to see it and eventually play the promotional mini campaign that will be released in the lead up to the film." I think that's a really cool idea. If that is a thing that's happening, that's awesome, because I think if anything, maybe this movie will get more and more people potentially into trying D&D for the first time. You know, if Stranger Things didn't do it, maybe this movie might do it. And if you're putting a mini campaign in front of me that I don't have to invest, a week into or a month into or years into, like some of these games I've heard go, I'm totally down to try it.
I think it's interesting too that Darcy is a D&D guy. He plays it religiously, so.
That's why he's not here. He's playing D&D.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right. So there you go.
Yeah.
So, to hear a fan say that, they're excited for it, that's reassuring too, because I think offline, Nate and I were just kind of talking about it, and like we said, we're interested in it, but we're not fans. And maybe that is the advantage. You know how sometimes fandom around certain properties is so intense, which can have a negative impact. And, yeah, exactly. And as we can see, has sometimes a negative impact on a movie or a series because of expectations. And maybe that's what's helping here, is that we have no expectations, we have no sort of connectivity to this franchise other than seeing this trailer and having excitement around what we've seen. So it'll be interesting to see what the rest of the D&D community is saying about the movie, and if they're also excited.
But it's also interesting too, because I think the source material lends itself well for writers who are coming in wanting to create more of an original story, because with that source material being it's designed to allow people to play in these worlds, to create their own stories. So because the source material isn't that sort of it's not massively fleshed out. I'm sure there's a lot of it, but because it's kind of it's always like a starting point for people, then they've kind of given that to these writers who can then say, okay, well, as long as we include this location, this dragon, and this monster book or whatever it is, then we've got the gelatinous cube has to make an appearance at some point. We've got the bare bones to create this story.
Exactly, and that's the refreshing part about this franchise is that for even a writer to approach it, there is no expectation. They can play the game themselves. They can create the characters and basically play the game, and that carves out the story of the film. So I actually think it's really brilliant that they chose this property and they're doing a set of characters rather than trying to hone in on specific characters. I like you said, Nate, we were talking about that offline, and that's exactly what we were saying is very much the freedom that writers have to approach this property must be far more refreshing than stepping into a Marvel or a DC or Star Wars, where there's so much pressure.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm sure the writers who approached this next series that we're going to talk about, also in the fantasy genre, probably have felt a lot of pressure, but I think this latest trailer is actually maybe a bit of sigh of relief, at least for me watching it, and that is the trailer for The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. This series is directed by J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay. I've got a description here, and much like the books, it's pretty long, so Justin, feel free to cut out this however you want. This series brings to screens for the very first time the heroic legends of the fabled Second Age of Middle-earth's history. This epic drama is set thousands of years before the events of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, and takes viewers back to an era in which great powers were forged, kingdoms rose to glory and fell to ruin, unlikely heroes were tested, hope hung by the finest of threads, and the greatest villain that ever flowed from Tolkien's pen threatened to cover all the world in darkness. There's actually a second half to that, but I'm just going to skip ahead here. This is starring Morfydd Clark, Robert Aramayo, Benjamin Walker, Markella Kavanagh, Joseph Mall, Ismael Cruz Cordova, and Lenny Henry, alongside, honestly, one of the biggest casts since Game of Thrones. This is streaming exclusively on Amazon Prime on September 2nd, 2022, and this trailer got me freaking hyped for this show. Megan, why don't you kick us off? What did you think of this San Diego Comic-Con trailer for The Rings of Power?
Well, this is the third trailer that we've gotten now since they announced the show?
I believe so. Yeah.
And the only word that can ever come up to my brain when these trailers drop is epic. Like, Lord of the Rings is a pretty epic fantasy world and has a huge fan base spanning years as well. But this show is going to show us and visually tell us a story that we haven't heard yet. So obviously we've heard the story of the rings being created and everything, but to be able to watch that happen and the first images of Sauron is so cool. I'm very curious about who that child is, but I'm sure that we'll find out. And I'm just excited to see some of my favorite characters in a new light, like Galadriel.
Absolutely. Yeah, Galadriel looking absolutely dope. Whether she's in battle or just like she got her hair down in this trailer, the scene with her lifting the helmet at the beginning of the trailer and putting it on the pile of helmets, I was like,
chills.
This is some like this, and it looked very very 300-esque, like very, you know what I mean, like very massive and so good.
Well, they're definitely depicting her as a warrior.
Yeah.
And I think that we got bits of that throughout. We didn't get as much of that in the original 3 Lord of the Rings, but in The Hobbit, where we saw her actually fight and stuff like that, we got a little bit of that. But I think here we're really going to understand how she becomes so powerful and what she's seen, the life that she's led. And I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see the birth of evil in Sauron, to see the birth of Sauron, and I think that kid's gonna have a very integral part in kind of giving Sauron a physical form. I'm thinking that's definitely something that's gonna, because you can see that he's morphing, like you see his hands and
sword,
stuff like
right?
that in the trailer. Yeah, and the sword starts to extend, kind of like I guess, pull a relevant reference, a bit of Gore the God Butcher with the Necrosword, right? Just the idea that it becomes part of him and gives him this power. But yeah, the trailer itself, this trailer was better than the trailer that they dropped almost 2 weeks ago, not even 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they dropped that trailer before Comic-Con. Like they should have just waited for this and did it, because I think a lot of stuff was piecemealed from that, and we got some new epic stuff and some more of the battles and that sort of grand scope that Lord of the Rings is. That being said, this series has definitely got me excited for the fall. Let me tell you, I'm excited to see.
Oh my gosh.
This.
I think this is probably my favorite trailer they've released so far. It feels, honestly, because of the scope of a lot of the sequences in this trailer, there's a lot of massive panning shots of them showing like that place where the elves live. I sound like a fake fan right now, but that place. Rivendell, thank you. But also Numenor as well. See, I know that one. And the where the dwarves live and all those places. It's just a lot of really wide, panning shots that I think look really phenomenal. And the CGI looks like it's actually there. And I think this looks like the most Game of Thrones production level that we've gotten in these trailers so far, and I'm so stoked for it. And I think it makes sense given how much this series is costing Amazon to make. It's like massive. But Justin, you called out the human form of Sauron. We actually do get to see that in this trailer. We see what's called the fair version of Sauron, who goes by Anatar. And that's kind of the name that he goes by, because they say like he's gone by many names. But he looks terrifying. If for those who are watching the trailer, he's got the blonde hair, kind of looking like Eminem a little bit, but prettier. And he honestly reminds me of one of the scariest probably things I've seen on screen before, which is the devil from The Passion of the Christ.
Oh,
if you've ever watched The Passion of the Christ. I know, deep, heavy cut there, but honestly, like the almost sort of feminine facial features, right? Because the whole point of his character, I was reading up, he's meant to appeal to whoever it is that he's sort of in front of. And so he can sort of shift how he looks. And so if he wants to look a little more fair, a little more beautiful in front of the realms of men, he'll do that, or in front of elves, right, to fit in more, he'll do that. So I'm really interested to see where they sort of take his character, because he looks freaky, and I'm so stoked for this. I also wanted to shout out Robert Aramayo speaking like frickin' Hugo Weaving. Like he is Elrond. Like when he's talking in this trailer, I'm just like, that sounds just like Elrond. Like they're obviously doing their homework. They're obviously studying these characters, and they're getting things right, which I think is really exciting. And I'm not the most passionate fan, as you can tell. I forgot what Rivendell was, but I'm as a casual fan of Lord of the Rings, I am so excited. I'm so much more excited for this than I ever was when I watched anything to do with The Hobbit. This is the most excited I've been about Lord of the Rings since The Return of the King. And I just wanted to quickly finish off here by saying the Balrog. I really do think this is us seeing the birth of the Balrog, and I think that is one of the coolest things, because when we first see it in The Lord of the Rings, we're led to believe that character has been around for so long. So to get to see like the beginning of this creature that no one's ever seen before, oh man, I'm so amped for this. I'm so amped.
Yep.
Okay, was there anything else you guys wanted to talk about with Lord of the Rings before we move on?
No, it just looks like a cinematic masterpiece.
Well, let's move on to our next one here. Speaking of cinematic, when you think cinematic, you must be thinking of National Treasure, and we got a new series coming to Disney Plus. National Treasure: Edge of History. This series is directed by Mira Nair. In National Treasure: Edge of History, Jess, a 23-year-old dreamer, sets off on a Pan-American treasure adventure where she uncovers secrets about her family's mysterious past, all while saving a long-lost treasure along the way. This series is going to be 10 episodes long. Stars Stars Lisette Oliveira, Zuri Reed, Antonio Cipriano, Jordan Rodriguez, Jake Austin Walker, Catherine Zeta-Jones. And returning from the original films will be Harvey Keitel, reprising his role as FBI agent Peter Sadusky, and Justin Bartha, fan favorite, who's going to be in a guest role playing Riley Poole. We have no date for this just yet, but this will be streaming soon. It's been 15 years, I'm pretty sure they said,
oh my gosh.
In the breakdown since National Treasure, or since maybe the sequel. Megan, you look like you're stoked about this, and stoked to see Riley Poole come back. What are your thoughts on this first look at National Treasure: Edge of History?
Well, I saw both of the first two movies in theaters, and I am a sucker for a puzzle. And that's essentially what these movies are. It's a puzzle that they're trying to figure out, and as the viewer, I want to try and figure it out before they can. So that's what I enjoy about the National Treasure movies. Obviously love Nicolas Cage in the first two. Riley was my favorite. He was a lot of people's favorites, but it's so fun to see Justin Bartha come back and reprise the role. I'm assuming he'll probably only be in like a small little bit of the first episode or something, but
right.
Excited to see him come back. I love that it's a female lead. Times are changing. We're changing the story, so that's great. And that it's going to be that Pan-American sort of adventure, so we get a look into Mexico as well. And we're seeing a new form of American history through this show. Like one of the things Justin Bartha said it was like a behind-the-scenes look that actually gave us more information than the trailer did, which is weird. But he said something along the lines of, we look at history a lot different than we did 15, 20 years ago. So I hope that this show highlights that stuff about American history in a new light, in a different light, so that we can, respect it, learn from it, and move on with this like cool, fun treasure hunt show.
Yeah, I think the big standout, like you said, female-led, but I also think the entire cast is diverse. There's not a of the group of kids, there's not a white kid. To speak to the point of what you're saying about American history, America looks a lot different. It's not just white people. It is a diverse collective of people. So I think that the casting has done that really well. I love that Justin Bartha's coming back. I think he was the highlight of the originals. Apart from Nicolas Cage, I think Nicolas Cage more or less just did his role, but I like that Justin Bartha's coming back. He's going to have some weight. He's going to have, obviously, he's financially successful. He's going to be able to support them and help them, figure out this mystery. Having someone like Catherine Zeta-Jones kind of step in and be the villain, I'm interested to see how she's going to portray that, because this could very much teeter into, like, I guess, teen Disney Channel territory, right? Like, very quickly. I don't know. It could go down that road of feeling very teen Disney Channel.
I feel like they're going for the Force Awakens style, having Justin Bartha in there, coming in to kind of send this crew off into their adventure, probably, and pass the torch literally to them as they explore these parts of American history. But I do think it is interesting, as you said, bringing in Catherine Zeta-Jones. I wonder if they're going to bring him in, if they're going to bring in our beautiful man, and he's going to come in at maybe the last second, a little teaser. I think would be really cool. Yeah, to see if Nick Cage shows up right at the end.
I guess you would save that for. Yeah, I guess you could save that for the
right?
the show. But I guess I think they could reference him, but I feel like that's a big get, and if you put his name on it, like that'll get people watching that show, no problem.
I also think if it's leaning towards what, Justin, you were saying about it being more of the like teen Family Channel, Disney Channel sort of show, I think just having Riley come in for a moment is enough to attach it to the old movies, but not make it like, hey, here's the bar of where National Treasure was. Now you have to match that. And not having Nicolas Cage means there's a little less pressure, I feel. So they
can go in a completely different direction and not have to. But I feel like this is also again, because it is targeting more of maybe a younger audience, the people that watched it who are now 15 years older, some of them might have a younger audience living with them that they might want to share this with. So I think that totally works. And yeah, if you check out the teaser, it's literally just Lisette Oliveira's character walking in, takes off her hat. She does like a shampoo commercial hair toss, and then looks at the camera all serious. So definitely check out the behind the scenes. Is a much better thing to get a sense of what's going on with this. But yeah, I'm intrigued. We'll probably be covering it. I'm hoping so. 10 episodes long. Probably not going to do a watch club for it, but I think we'll definitely check it out. This next one here is our second last trailer, but this kind of leads into kind of the big sort of bulk of the Marvel stuff that we wanted to talk about. So we'll kick it off with this one here. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is getting a limited series. The description for those who don't know who Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur are, after 13-year-old super genius Lunella accidentally brings a 10-ton T-Rex devil dinosaur into present-day New York City via a time vortex, the duo work together to protect the city's Lower East Side from danger. This is starring Diamond White, Alfred Woodard, Fred Tatasciore, Sashir Zamata, Lieb Bearer, Jermaine Fowler, Gary Anthony Williams, and frickin' Lawrence Fishburne is going to be in this show as well. This is streaming on Disney Plus next year and premiering on the same day as it does. It'll be on Disney Channel as well, which I thought was really lovely to see the little Disney Channel
fitting
tag. Very fitting, and honestly, it's Megan's doing the for our listeners, she's doing the draw the mouse head thing. I was a huge fan of Disney Channel growing up. Megan, our first look at Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, what did you think?
Oh my god, it's so cute. It's definitely a adorable kids show, very reminiscent, design-wise at least, of like Teen Titans, Danny Phantom,
Yes.
Dexter's Laboratory.
Yes.
It's that very angular staccato animation. I love it. It's super cute. It's relatable to kids these days, so I think it's going to be really fun, and I'm actually totally excited to watch it.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I think the look of it, as you said, looks awesome. The they're called Ben-Day dots, is like that comic book sort of processing look with the dots on it are showing up all over the screen, which I think looks so sick. The onomatopoeia with like the whooshes and the words showing up with it's just so. It just seems like a perfect way to sort of get younger audiences accustomed who maybe haven't really dived into comic books before, and then just sort of be like, cool, so you like the look of that? Awesome. Here's a comic book of Moon Girl that looks so similar. And I think it's really, really fun, and I love the little animations that are popping up and everything like that. I think it looks like, it's going to be a really fun time, and I think again, I loved the just like some of the audio as well. The Sonic the Hedgehog noise when Lunella gets tossed into the lamppost, and then of course the music was reminding me a lot of like Proud Family. I was getting Proud Family vibes, kind of like a funk sort of city sound,
hip hop.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Justin, what did you think of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur?
Yeah, I thought it was cute and it was adorable, as you guys were saying. The animation style is a lot of fun. I had the chance to read an issue of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur a long time ago, and I was very taken back at how vibrant and bold it was. And I think it's just perfect that they've decided to take this character and turn it into a very kid-oriented Disney Channel-esque style cartoon, because it makes total sense. I think kids are really going to connect with it and love Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. They're going to love the stories. I think as well, Nate, you called out the cast. Again, there's so many people that are jumped aboard to be a part of this series. Allison Brie, Andy Cohen, Jennifer Hudson. The list goes on. I think that just gives a huge testament to the work that is being done with this series and the love that people are going to have for it. So yeah, I'm interested in seeing it. I probably won't check it all out, but I'm interested enough to see what it's all about and check out a few episodes.
Oh yeah, David Diggs, Maya Hawke, is also going to be in it as well. Wesley Snipes,
Oh
Colby
my God.
Smulders is going to be in it as well. So there's a lot of really dope
Colby
guest
Smulders
voices.
will probably be like Maria Hill, right?
Is she going to be her
Oh, she
actual
could be.
character?
Yeah, Maria Hill. Yeah,
whatever her
that'd be
name is.
Maria
I'm
Hill.
a fake fan again. I
I know,
don't actually watch any of this stuff. Whatever.
No, you just forget things really well. We all do, though.
Her
You
name
could tell him-
is
Maria Hill.
Maria Hill.
Yeah, Justin said it like
Her
3
name is-
times.
I've this up 3 times.
Okay. Listen. This has been a lot of fun with this trailer time, but listen, there was so much announced in the world of Marvel animation. And of course, there's one more trailer that I did want to talk about for I Am Groot. But before we get to that, I kind of want to, maybe we'll save that till the end. And we'll circle back around. But I wanted to talk now about some of the things that we got to see very lightly. Of course, people at the convention were feeling that FOMO over here. And the people at the convention got to see a little bit more than we did. But we got some blurry screenshots, some blurry screen grabs and pictures that are all over Twitter. And I wanted to start off with Spider-Man Freshman Year. Jeff Trammell teased the show with the cast of characters. And Ryan Meinerding, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, showed off the new Spider-Man suit designed for the series. We get a fun reveal that the moderator, who is moderating the panel, Paul F. Tompkins, will be playing a character in the series. And a second season for this show was already announced. They're really looking super far into the future. And of course, it's aptly titled Spider-Man Sophomore Year. Spider-Man Freshman Year is an animated series that follows Peter Parker on his way to becoming Spider-Man in the MCU, with a journey unlike anything we've ever seen, and a style that celebrates the character's early comic book roots. Executive producer Jeff Trammell serves as the head writer. Spider-Man Freshman Year is coming to Disney Plus in 2024. So cool.
Yeah, you were saying like a long time away for March 3rd, 2023. I'm like, dude, some of these animated series, like we got like little teases, and we got to wait like almost a year
So
to 2
long.
years for most of them. Right?
Yeah.
So it's nuts that we're seeing this stuff this early. But that being said, it is cool because, again, it makes sense that it was more stills than they were anything
Well, they
in
wouldn't
motion.
have
Maybe they're-
anything. Yeah.
That being said, I love the style. I love the
I'm
look
so
really cool.
of
into
this
the
show.
comic book style.
Oh, dude, it feels so 60s retro esque, but modernized in a way. I love the look of Norman Osborn. Can we talk about Norman Osborn for a second here? And
Yeah,
and the
of course. There
introduction of him?
were some. If you hop on Twitter, I know podcasts are not a visual format medium, and we're going to be talking about some of these stills, but we'll try to describe them as best we can. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that was sort of leaked from the panel that I do hope we get to see, in a bit more of a higher resolution as maybe they start to put this stuff out officially. But yeah, instead of Tony Stark, Norman Osborn is going to be taking on the role of the mentor in freshman year. Interesting.
And what I love is if you go online, again, like Nate said, you can find the stuff online. All you need to do is Google search it, and you'll find it. It's not going to get taken down. I think this was allowed to actually happen rather than it leaking, because Hall H has very strict rules. I don't think that the rules were that strict here. That being said, the shot that they have of Norman Osborn over Peter's shoulder, it's very reminiscent of the first introduction Peter has with Tony Stark in his apartment.
Yeah.
So it feels like even just in that shot alone, it feels like they're setting up a Peter Parker in another universe, in a multiverse. There's characters, because a lot of people were immediately on it saying like, hey, like, is this canon? Because like Norman Osborn's here, you got Doc Ock, he's already met Doc Ock. So of course the people on Twitter and on the internet have all agreed that this must be a multiverse story, sort of a long what if. This will feel reminiscent of the story that we know of Peter Parker from the MCU, but in told in a new way, because like Daredevil's in it, voiced by Charlie Cox, which is amazing. I'm excited to see all of the different spider suits. Like, people are losing their minds. They're like, "Is this canon? Is this canon?" I'm like,
The
"Does it
multiverse
have to be?"
Yeah.
But that's it. That is it. Maybe the animation is an avenue for Marvel to say it is the multiverse.
I do think that I love the idea of it being a multiverse, not only for Peter, but also from a standpoint of having different versions of some of these classic characters as well, but done in the classic style. So you're taking it, you're coming at it with a new approach. Like, I could be very wrong, but there is a still out there of all the different villains that they're going to be featuring. And there was mention apparently at the panel that Rhino will make a showing. And there's a woman on the far left of this image that's sort of circling around of all the different villains who kind of has like a thing on her head, like a little metal thing at the top of her head. And she's got a mohawk and she's super buff. She's super yacked. So I'm like, that would be sick if it's a female Rhino. Like, that would be so dope for them to be able to kind of play around with this a little bit. But yeah, the whole aspect of Peter, you know, people were quick to be like, well, they don't know who, you know, Doc Ock is in No Way Home, so how would he have met Doc Ock prior to, you know, because it leads up to the events in the MCU. So I definitely think you're right on the money there. It's a multiverse thing. It doesn't make any sense for it not to be.
And it just gives them the freedom. It gives them the freedom to do new stories, not be so confined to what's already been done. But yeah, I love the retro look that this entire series is going to have. Like, even Doc Ock looks so... like, he looks like carbon copy retro of what his look was. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited to see what this show's all about.
Well, I can wait.
So far away, we're gonna have to wait. We're gonna have to wait. We're gonna have to wait.
But so, Justin, what if I told you that there is more what if on the way? Brian Andrews and AC Bradley talked about the Emmy-nominated series and showed the trailer for Season 2, which the audience got to see. I can't wait to see it. I hope we get to see it soon. Apparently, the audience went wild, and at the end of the presentation, they showed a surprise screening of one of the episodes, which we learned was Captain Carter. It was like, what if Captain Carter fought... what is that thing called again? The Hydra Stomper. What if Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper? Shut up, dude. It's late for me here, okay? Relax. I put this together in like half a minute. And so they got to see that, which I'm super jealous of. And then they straight up were like, oh yeah, and there's a third season as well. So that's crazy. What if Season 2 continues the journey with the Watcher as our guide through the vast multiverse, introducing brand new and familiar faces to the MCU. The animated series questions, revisits, and twists classic Marvel cinematic moments with an incredible voice cast that includes a host of stars who reprise their iconic roles. Directed by executive producer Brian Andrews, with executive producer AC Bradley as head writer. Season 2 of What If launches exclusively on Disney Plus in early 2023. Now we did get
that's all right, actually.
That's okay.
That's not bad.
I'm looking more forward to Season 3, honestly, as a fan. I think it's crazy that we have to wait so long. No, I'm just kidding. But I did want to kind of, there was some stuff floating around Twitter, obviously, not as much to look at from this, but a lot of like just sort of confirmed episodes or stories that they're going to be telling. One of them apparently going to be like a story about Hela. Another one is Odin versus the Mandarin, which I thought was really interesting. Some of these are a little sketchy. I don't know how much they're confirmed, but some of them are definitely were kind of popping up all over the place. Captain Carter meets the Winter Soldier. Tony Stark on Sakaar with the Incredible Hulk and Valkyrie. I thought it was an interesting one. And then a kid Star-Lord story was the other one, like a young little kid Star-Lord, which I think is an interesting approach to take. So some of those are like, if they are true, then they sound pretty dope. Like, especially Odin versus Mandarin, like that one sounds like a fire episode. That sounds like it would be fun. But
we
like
get
to
Gamora
have a season,
too, right?
Sure, yeah.
I'm
right,
pretty
because
sure
there was that
they're
Gamora
featuring her
episode that
properly.
was taken out. So maybe that's where they
Yeah,
started.
wasn't
the first thing they did.
wasn't that the one that was on Sakaar? Or
Right.
maybe it wasn't.
Maybe.
I can't remember. But again, depending on what if any of that is actually true, it would be interesting if they had 2 episodes dedicated to Captain Carter in it. I like the motif of maybe trying to dedicate one episode to like all of these different right, like that kind of is what helps the whole what if scenario, right?
I like the idea of like if it's Hela, like how do you twist that? And I think take the approach of showing her side of the story and almost going from the sense of like maybe flipping it completely. And so instead of like almost take her and put her in where we saw Sylvie in Loki, kind of like have like she was the sibling that didn't grow up to become the super evil one. Like, I think that would be really cool if maybe Loki is in her place, and maybe they give him a more ornate helmet of some kind that he's very proud of, or something like that. I think would be kind of neat to see. I'm totally down to see more Hela stories.
I would love to see more Hela stories. I actually think it would be great if she is the first episode and you establish her as the villain throughout the rest of the season.
Absolutely. But Megan, what about yourself? What if anything, are you looking forward to?
Seeing Gamora. I actually was really upset that they pulled that episode out of the first season because
it makes no sense.
Absolutely. Leading into that finale episode, it was like, why the heck does Gamora have Thanos' giant sword and it has all this armor? It makes no sense. So hopefully we get the explanation as to who that Gamora was. If anything, that episode, or like she's featured in another one of these, but maybe not the main character. I don't know. I feel like it was sort of a waste that they didn't.
Imagine they wrote her out. Imagine they wrote her out of that episode and they replaced her with Valkyrie.
And then it just becomes like a
because I don't understand why they would take that episode out, right? And say, "Oh, we're going to save it for next season." And then
they didn't have time.
Sure, I get that they didn't have time. So they sacrificed the episode because so much was constantly evolving. It seems like they were shuffling around the episode so much to kind of keep up with all the timing. I don't know. It just seems like such a weird choice to sacrifice that story yet still include her in the finale. Like, why go back and try to reintroduce her or retell the story? So I don't know. That's why I think potentially they might have revisited that story and taken her out and replaced her with Valkyrie, as you were pointing out, Nate. But I hope that we get to see more of her. And, apart from just that episode, it would be nice to get a story of her story.
There's literally a Funko Pop of that Gamora.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So they got to sell more of them. Well, I definitely think, with that season of What If, things got shuffled around. Speaking of shuffling around, you know what else shuffles around? Zombies. And we got our first look and more information on Marvel Zombies, which is an animated show done by the exact same studio that did What If. Brian Andrews offered background on the series and its origins, spawning from the episode of What If in Season 1, as well as a few pieces of concept art. The animated series Marvel Zombies from Marvel Studios reimagines the Marvel Universe as a new generation of heroes where they battle against an ever-spreading zombie scourge. Directed by executive producer Brian Andrews and written by executive producer Zeb Wells, Marvel Zombies will stream on Disney Plus, and believe it or not, is getting a TVMA rating. A TVMA rating.
Sure.
I don't believe it's going to be for language, but I definitely think it's going to be for violence, because I think they definitely want to hold and bring the original comic book amount of gore in. They want to honor the people who've read the comic books. But this looks really interesting. We got a ton of, well, not a ton, but we got a bunch of concept art that we were looking at here. But before we talk about all that stuff, Justin, what did you think of this new information of Marvel Zombies?
Well, I love that it's rated mature, because I think that, again, it just helps push them closer to the rated R, right? Like creating different sub ratings within their bigger family of Marvel, right? Because we talked about a kid show based on a Marvel comic, and it's definitely targeted for kids, but here we have something that is far more mature, and it's going to really lean into that horror vibe and probably deliver on that gore that you're hinting at there.
Now, Megan, I know you're not the biggest zombie or scary things fan, but you are a fan of animation and Marvel. Is this going to be a way that we get you into actually watching something with a zombie in it?
I'll definitely watch it. I actually really enjoyed the zombie episode of the What If series.
Yeah.
That, I mean, it included my favorite Marvel superhero, Wanda. So, and also this series is supposed to start where they left off in that episode. So I'm really intrigued to see how that goes. And yeah, I love this style of animation. I think it's so interesting. I've never seen anything like it before. So I'm all in for the Marvel zombies. And I can separate some animated gore from real gore. I think I'll be okay.
For sure. Yeah, you can draw the line. But
Yeah.
like, I think, again, like you said, to have the studio from What If to kind of carry on this story, like I love their style and the style that they created with What If. So I'm very happy to see that that they're going to be, taking the reins and bringing this series to life.
The team looks really intriguing. I mean, we've got like a ton of different characters here. I was stoked to see Red Guardian is going to be showing up on the team. We've got Shang-Chi in here.
All the noobs.
It's all the noobs. And what's interesting is that like we were introduced to them in live action, and then their next appearance is in the
Great.
zombie world. So it is interesting. It looks like Shang-Chi has a metal arm. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah.
Looks like he might have lost his arm.
On
so
his
it looks
right
like
side.
Yeah, but come on. Officer Jimmy Woo is a part of this crew, which is,
Love that.
is going to be a good time. I love it. I love that he's in it.
Yeah, dude, I'm stoked. I'm stoked to see Kate Bishop here.
Yelena.
Yelena is
Yelena
here.
and Kate. So you think they'll be like besties? They'll 100% be
I
besties.
I hope
on this.
so. That would be sick.
yeah.
That would be sick. Katie is also in it from Shang-Chi, which I
Yeah,
think is
she's one of the
awesome.
good-
We got Katie coming back.
Aquafina.
Yeah,
That's gonna be
Aquafina
awesome.
is going to be in this series. And I think he's called the Death Dealer or the Death Bringer or whatever, who is also from Shang-Chi. I think it'll be cool to see him maybe
It was his
kick
trainer.
some butt.
Yeah. So also, just to see Miss Marvel in this ragtag group is awesome. But also to see zombie Captain Marvel, which they hinted at in Miss Marvel.
So cool.
Remember when she's like, maybe I'll go to Avengers Con as Captain Marvel, but as a zombie,
Yeah.
right? I'll have superpowers, and right. I think it's kind of funny that we're getting a Captain Marvel zombie after that sort of joke that was in Ms. Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, a lot of this looks a lot of fun. We also got a biker Skrull gang.
Yeah, there's a Skrull biker gang for some reason, which I think is super cool.
Yeah.
But then we also have another team of all lady heroes, and I think one of them might be a Black Widow. One of them might be
I think a
SHIELD
couple of them
agent, or maybe they're all Black Widows. I don't know.
Yeah, I see on like and from the concept art that was revealed on Twitter, looks like definitely there's one girl that has a clear Black Widow style belt buckle,
Yeah.
but I feel like the others might be spray painted, but I don't
Okay.
know. It's hard to tell, but yeah, it looks like they're, at least the leader is a full-fledged Black Widow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Which is pretty dope. At first though, I thought it was going to be Echo. I thought she was Echo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Just super militarized. But then when I saw the Black Widow, I was like, oh no, she's probably going to be a Black Widow.
But
So-
then, dude, let's talk about these zombies. Of course, we have Zombie Wanda coming back, as we mentioned. Zombie Captain Marvel, half of Zombie Captain America, because we know what happens to him in What If. But then we've also got, I think, is that Zombie Okoye kind of leading the pack,
Yep.
which is so freaking dope. Zombie Abomination, I think, is really neat to see. One of the characters is Ghost, who I think she was from
Ant-Man and Wasp.
Ant-Man and the
Ant-Man,
Wasp, right?
Yeah,
And then is
yeah.
that Hawkeye with all like the
That
arrows
is Hawkeye,
stabbed into
yep.
him? Which is so
Yeah,
cool.
that's Hawkeye.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how they play off of Kate Bishop's relationship with Clint Barton, and how that kind of feeds into having an emotional resonance with having to hopefully kill Hawkeye.
Well, and I
So,
think that was the part of the What If episode that sort of took me out of it a lot, was how quickly they moved past these characters' deaths and losing them. And I love that call out, Justin, because I feel like having this as a series, will get us the ability to sort of see these characters
course,
experience this loss. And you look at the zombie team, and you look at the main hero team, and you can kind of see how that's going to play out. If we lose Yelena, if we get a zombie Yelena, and how does that necessarily affect Kate Bishop, or how does I could just sort of see them sort of playing off all these and actually digging deep, like how is Miss Marvel going to react to
her idol.
Captain Marvel, her idol as a zombie. I don't know, man. This is looking really fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. But I'm also looking forward to going back. You ever wanted to go back? You ever thought about going back to the 90s, back to the year 1997? Well, listen. You're going to be able to. With X-Men 97, cheers erupted when Brad Winderbaum spoke fondly of the legacy of the X-Men, the animated series, and presented a sizzle reel featuring cast and creatives from the popular 90s animated show. X-Men 97 writer and executive producer Bao DeMayo then spoke about the new series, shared some artwork, and presented an animatic AV piece. DeMayo also mentioned that the show will use the original X-Men theme that they've played for us now twice in the MCU, and a second season, of course, was also announced, which I would assume would be called X-Men 98. X-Men 97 is an animated series from Marvel Studios that explores new stories set in the iconic 90s timeline of the original series. Bao DeMayo is executive producer and head writer. X-Men 97 will begin streaming exclusively on Disney Plus in the fall of 2023. What are our thoughts on everything shown off, including some of those photos that popped onto Twitter of X-Men 97?
Well, it's interesting to see they've retained the look, which obviously is incredibly iconic, just as iconic as the theme song. So I'm glad that they have. It looks like they've incorporated some new characters as well. But for more or less, like, there are characters that we've seen in the original animated series. But damn, like, Magneto's got a new look. I've never seen that look on Magneto, and he's apparently going to be the new leader of the X-Men against the Sinister, which is obviously Mr. Sinister and his team of mutants. But yeah, like, they seem to have captured all the essence of the look and feel to help, again, tell this story, new stories. I'm excited. I'm very excited to see how what I'm hoping is the technology and the modern skills of animation will help improve, things like depth and proportions and stuff like that, because things in the original animated series were
Very
really
flat.
really wonky. Well, just really wonky, and like also just really exasperated, if you will.
Yeah.
Like things seemed bigger and smaller.
Storm,
like especially
Storm had
body parts.
some features
Yeah.
about her.
Yeah.
I think all the females
Rogues-
in the show had
Yeah.
certain features
Yeah.
that have been
But
scaled
some of
back
the
here.
guys too, though, muscles
Yeah.
and stuff like that too, were really really engorged and everything like that. So it's just but it feels like things are a little bit more tempered, and they look more like action figure-y. You know what I mean? Like you literally reach into the screen and pull it out, and it's like an action figure in your hands, right? So yeah, I'm digging the look. I wish we got at least like a little trailer.
I know. I'm so curious to see how it's animated.
Yeah, I want to see how it moves.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Megan, did you ever watch the original animated series for X-Men?
Well, I was 4, so I did not. I obviously have seen like reruns or clips and things of it, but I definitely remember that time in the animated world where a lot of shows sort of looked like this. Early Spider-Man and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and stuff like that was very retro feeling. And yeah, one of the things I'm most interested in, like we were just saying, is how it's going to move and how they're going to animate it. Are they going to make it feel more like a modern, current 2D cartoon, or are they going to go back and like make it feel retro too with the movement, which I'd be down for if it was like sort of staccato and like awkward, and I'd be into it because that would just, sort of bring the nostalgia back for a lot of people, I'm sure. But I love the retro vibe. I love the comic book vibe. I love X-Men. So thank you for bringing X-Men back. Yeah, we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued. I think it's the fact that they've kind of got the original crew with Rogue, Beast, Gambit, Wolverine, Storm, Jubilee, Cyclops, and Jean Grey. It's going to be fantastic. But then I think it's cool because it's going to bring a lot of these characters that were explored there, but not necessarily in the Fox movies, into the forefront. Like, obviously Nightcrawler was, and I'm stoked to see Nightcrawler's back here. But to see someone like, I think we've got Bishop in one of these images as well, and also them showing like Sinister and Emma Frost, I think she was in the movies as well. But I think it's really cool.
So was Bishop.
Was Bishop in the movies as well?
Yeah, he was in Days and Future Past.
Oh, okay.
Like, I totally agree. I think that Mr. Sinister is someone that they haven't introduced live action in X-Men in any facet. They've hinted at, but they have not. So, to hopefully one day potentially get that in an MCU movie, that would be exciting. But for now, having him back as sort of a staple character in this series seems really, really fitting. And I think that's what's great is that they're not trying to revamp and introduce just new characters. They're keeping the characters that they did introduce from the series. Yeah. Right? Like they're not looking at, here in the movies they've introduced this person, so we should include them. They're saying, no, let's go back. Cool stuff. Like it's great to see them actually just wholeheartedly leaning into bringing back the nostalgia. And
they've got like Morph in there. It's just like bald white, like
he's
pale
wearing a
white
mask, right?
Mutant, and then there's Sunspot, I think, is another one that's in there. And so I think what's kind of cool with all this as well, though, is that we get the ability to sort of see, or Disney gets the ability to see, and Marvel gets the ability to see who are the fans gravitating towards, who are they talking about from the series in this animated form before they would bring them into live action. And that's one of the strategies they can use. And then also they could just randomly bring out Moon Knight with Scarlet Scarab, and we'll all be like freaking out anyways. Yeah. And be like, who the frick is Moon Knight? Who cares? He looks awesome. Like, I think it's just funny the way that they sort of go about just randomly bringing in these deep cut characters. We're going to be getting Werewolf by Night with, I'm sure we're going to see some crazy stuff from there as well. But before we get to the I Am Groot trailer, was there anything you wanted to shout out that you think we'll see?
There's been so much about it. Like everyone was saying, oh, this is a mega one. They're coming back roaring at Comic-Con. Marvel's going to drop a whole bunch of stuff. And then I think as the weeks have gone on, it's been like, oh, well, they're going to save some of the bigger announcements for D23. Yeah. And I think that's actually the smarter strategy if you think about it, because right now they have Captain Marvel, actually in order, Black Panther needs to come out. Oh, yeah. I believe Captain Marvel comes out after that, and then Ant-Man comes out, and then I think there's another one too that is escaping me. Oh, Guardians. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Guardians 3.
And they have a Christmas special?
They have a Christmas special, which I think they'll say for D23. Yeah. They might say for D23. We may get a hint of the Halloween special. I think that would be really great to get that introduction tomorrow. Yeah. Because that's coming up. That is coming up sooner rather than later. And D23 would be too late to showcase that because it's in September. So I honestly think that the hour is going to be dedicated to showing the things that are coming that are currently in work. And I think it is going to blow fans out of the water, I think, what they're going to show. And we might get some shows in there, some series and stuff like that are also in production, like Secret Invasion. And that being said, I don't know if we're going to get like the Secret Wars announcement that people want, or Mutants announcements that we're going to get, or, what Phase 5 is going to look like, Fantastic Four. Like that would be, if anything, that's the one that I think he could cap the panel on, was here is your Fantastic Four. Yeah. And then that's it. Right?
Just
like
the cast
like that's it. Yeah. Just the cast, and that's it. And there you go. That's all you're gonna get. That's gonna really blow people out of the water. But I really do think Captain Marvel, Black Panther, Ant-Man, Quantumania, and Guardians 3 are really gonna hold the priority for the panel tomorrow.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'll be intrigued to see what they announce for Black Panther. Like,
I'm excited though. Like, we're gonna cover that, and it's gonna be probably longer than this episode, but we'll see. We'll see.
We will see. But there's one thing that we did actually get to see out of this animation panel, and that is the trailer for I Am Groot. And let's just say I am very excited for this. I Am Groot writer and director and executive producer Kristen Lepore answered questions about the upcoming series and treated the audience to the trailer as well as a new key art. A surprise screening of one of the shorts, which was Groot Takes a Bath, which was shown. And I cannot wait to see Groot taking a bath. Apparently it delighted everyone, and there was a lot of people that were clapping it up there. And apparently they also announced that while the first 5 episodes are going to be streaming exclusively on August 10th, there's going to be 5 more that they're actually going to pop out later on, which is super exciting and a lot of fun. And so they say there's no guarding the galaxy from this mischievous toddler. So we're going back to Baby Groot. So get ready as Baby Groot takes center stage in his very own collection of shorts, exploring his glory days of growing up and getting into trouble among the stars. I Am Groot, 5 original shorts featuring several new and unusual characters, stars everyone's favorite little tree, Baby Groot, voiced by the absolutely charming and delightful Vin Diesel, who voices Groot in the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. Of course, he's all about family, and I think this is going to be a great family series. The executive producers are Kevin Feige, Louis D'Esposito, and Victoria Alonso, alongside with Brad Winterbaum and, of course, James Gunn. Megan, I'm going to kick it to you over here. Give me your best Groot dance and tell me what did you think of I Am Groot trailer?
oh my God, bursting with excitement. This was the only trailer I watched where my jaw dropped, which is so funny because of the incredible, cinematic big film trailers we got. This one, I didn't know what I was expecting. Yeah. It wasn't this. Yeah. But it also blew any expectation out of the water. I love the concept of what these little shorts are going to be. I don't think I've ever been so excited for a short in my whole life. The colors, those little blue aliens, if that is just a taste of the characters we're going to get in these shows, I'm so on board, and I love Groot in his little Christmas pajamas. I love when he's doing different leaf outfits. Oh my gosh. This is going to be so much fun, so silly, and I think Marvel needs a little bit of fun, cute silliness. So just to sprinkle in amongst all of the serious stuff.
When he does his Marie Antoinette dress unveiling and so gorgeous and so lovely, and I'm I love those little blue guys are really getting to me. I think are they eating did he fart that leaf out and they're eating his
poop?
His poop? Is that what's happening? Yeah. They're freaking out.
Yeah, I just think it's so cute and so fun, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I think that exactly what we were saying about the idea of zombies being rated TV mature, right, for a mature audience in the Marvel world, that helps push them in a direction. And I think things like this and a show like Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, again, they need to draw in the kids audience. They got to be able to speak to all ages, right? So I think that it's really smart to take a key character from your your cinematic world and let's tell some stories with him that are lovely and just fun and endearing and really do highlight the adorable nature that is Groot. So I think it'll be a win for sure.
Oh yeah.
Apparently there were some folks who said in the Groot Takes a Bath episode that they did get to see Rocket Raccoon as well. So that'll be interesting. I'm wondering if I'm trying to think about the sort of the timeline of all this in the sense of it's during his glory days, so it's when he was still Baby Groot. He's not a teenage Groot. No. I'm almost curious to see if maybe a little bit of what we're seeing, maybe not the moment with, well, I guess if Rocket's in it, I'm just trying to figure out if this is like the original Baby Groot. Like maybe that's the reveal throughout this little
Guardians
series
2?
that it's before Guardians 2.
Oh, like it would be interesting if that is the
Do you know what I
reveal,
mean?
But for me,
Yeah.
for me at least, I'm thinking that it is taking place from the time of after Guardians 1,
Yeah.
where he's kind of regrowing up, if you will.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense to start his story from there and fill in, because so much has happened to Groot. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting if some of these shorts do venture into something that might be meaningful or purposeful in something that has happened later. I'm not sure. So
Right, because we do see him on a ship at one point. So obviously he'll be in space and doing a bit of traveling when he's in his cute little Christmas pajamas. But but like I am really interested to be, because again I feel like they could maybe play off the idea that maybe that's Rocket's ship, right? Maybe Rocket at some point before he was. You know what I mean? Like, is this when we get to see the origin of when they meet here, or maybe this is just filling in a space in between?
That's really interesting. I actually think that's very plausible. We could see, how Rocket met Groot, and there could be some really interesting stories, and that actually might free them up from having to involve the other Guardians and really just stay focused on Rocket and Groot and their relationship. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows? That's a good idea, though. I like that.
Kind of cute.
Yeah, I feel like there's three spots on the timeline that are totally viable options where maybe Rocket and Groot, or just Groot, went off and did a little something on his own, where either it's when they met, like you're saying, or it's before Guardians 2, or it's after Guardians 2 before the end credit scene when he's a teenager. So there's like some sort of blip in there where he's saved the world as Baby Groot, and he's like, I'm awesome and powerful, I'm gonna do my own thing, and then he gets into little hijinks or something. But yeah, it could happen at any point.
I'm so excited. I'm so happy that it's the closest thing to be released on this list of things that we've been talking about. I think it is coming up August 10th. I just can't wait to see those blue people eat all that Groot poop. But that is it. We have taken as long as a San Diego Comic-Con panel I'm sure normally takes, and we have run the gamut here of all these incredible trailers and announcements that have come out. So with that being said, thank you so much for joining us for this this really sort of earlier This Week in Geek than we normally put out. Of course, we had to for San Diego Comic-Con, and as we mentioned earlier, we will be covering the big one tomorrow for tomorrow's panel as well. So keep it locked. Look forward to that. We hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, make sure to subscribe to us wherever you like to listen to podcasts. And if you want to write into the show with your thoughts on all the news, the trailers, or any of the content we cover, Justin, can you let these incredible geeks know how they can use the internet to voice their opinion? I don't think they've ever done it before.
Well, they can reach out to us at wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. That's wearegeekcentric@gmail.com, or on Twitter at geekcentricyt, or on Instagram at wearegeekcentric.
Keep in mind, we have a ton of other great episodes covering the latest in movies and TV shows out now, including our recent spoiler-free and spoiler-filled review for Thor, Love and Thunder, more Marvel content. We also have our spoiler-free review for Only Murders in the Building Season 2, Episodes 1 to 6. We also have our review, spoiler-free review for The Gray Man, which is out now on Netflix. You can listen to our thoughts. Maybe do that. Give our review a listen to before you check out that one, although I think Justin would tell you otherwise. And also, we have a ton of wonderful interviews, but our most recent one was with Obi-Wan Kenobi director Deborah Chow and frickin' Anakin Skywalker himself, Hayden Christian. Justin had a chance to sit down with both of them and chat it up. And speaking of Obi-Wan Kenobi, we've wrapped our Watch Club, which is our weekly series where we watch and give you our takes and our thoughts and our reviews and our theories, and we do that every single week. We've wrapped our Watch Club for both Obi-Wan and Miss Marvel. So if you haven't watched those shows yet, go and watch all those shows on Disney Plus, and then you can listen along with us as we cover a lot of this stuff. And I know Megan has kind of popped up on a few of those episodes as well. And if you like our watch clubs, well, listen, we've got 2 incredible watch clubs on the way where we'll be covering both Andor and She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, coming up in the next month. So definitely keep it locked, subscribed if you want to join us for those watch clubs. But definitely look forward to that. We'll have more on our socials, so you can definitely check those out. Give those episodes a listen and a 5-star review if you don't mind. Justin, Megan, thank you so much for joining me for today's recap episode. And as we say, love ya.
Bye.
Peace.